Well, hi, everybody. Denise speaking, your intuitive coach. Thank you for joining us. And as you see, starting a few seconds after 1 o'clock in Central Europe, so happy you could join us. I'm going to wait a few more minutes for the people that still haven't joined. So if in the meantime, if you don't already have them, then grab a pen and some paper, because this is a training and I'm going to get you to do some exercises as I explain the methodology, the process and the program that I've designed just for you to help you with your career transition. The next thing is to please introduce yourself in the chat. It should be on your right. Hi from Pomona in California. Welcome. You're having it hot there from what I've seen. Here in Europe, we're getting a lot of rain, but in Eastern Europe, they're also getting it very hot. So I think we're all now realizing that climate change is here and things are going to get serious. Here in Switzerland, we've had a lot of rain these last couple of weeks. So we're not going to suffer from the drought that they have in the west of the US. So I hope you're keeping safe and away from all the wildfires. Next, if you haven't completed the survey, please do so. If you can go back to the link. And those that did, thank you. And thanks also to those of you that sent me some questions in before today. I'll be going over all the questions and answering them at the end of the session. So if you do have any questions, please add them in also to the chat and I'll go through them when I've finished explaining what this program is all about. And I'm really excited to be sharing with you. I've had some incredible results with it. And those of you that know me, you know that I'm an intuitive coach, and I'll be explaining what that is in a moment. Sorry, frog in my throat. So let's get started. I want to share with you a few slides. And the first thing you will notice that I'm up here in the top right-hand corner. And you'll see that I've included my email, denise@findingyourhappy.com. And I've also included the Twitter handles. So if you want to follow me on Twitter or Facebook or even LinkedIn, then please do so. I think today that's where most of the discussions happen. So feel free to reach out and connect with me on any of the social media platforms. I'm on all of them. One word of warning, I spell my name with a Y, not an I, as it's usually written. Y is a letter of protection, and my mother put Ys in all our names. So that's why my name is spelt with a Y. So with that said, I'll show you again these contact details at the end. We should be going for about 45, 50 minutes. It depends how many questions we have at the end. So with that, I want to start by asking you some questions. And it's these. Do you have a passion that you never pursued in life or in your career? Is there a new field that you'd like to get into? Are you feeling stuck and feel like you're just working on autopilot with no real enjoyment in your job? Or is your work environment making you feel stressed out? It's really toxic. The exciting challenges of your youth have just become worries today. Are you working in an area that technology and robots might make redundant sooner or later? And have your values and priorities changed since you started in your career? Are you now feeling uncomfortable in your current industry? Or have you reached the proverbial glass ceiling in your current career and You feel that you've still got a lot more that you can offer the right company. So if you said yes to one or more of these, then I'm happy that you joined us here, because your job doesn't have to make you bored, sick, or tired. You're spending 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, if not even more. So don't you think that it should be energizing you and inspiring you, not making you sick and tired? Now, in this training, I'm going to share a simple strategy with you to identify and then transition to your ideal job. Sorry. Now, you might be wondering who I am. As I said at the beginning, my name is Denise and I'm your intuitive coach. And I'll share more about that in a moment. But first, I want to start by telling you a story about something that happened to me a few years ago. I want you to imagine this. I'm lying on the operating table, awake, but incapable of moving or speaking. And I can't breathe. I'm totally paralyzed, but I'm awake. I hear my monitor go beep, 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 beep. I'm not scared, just oddly amused. Hasn't anybody noticed that I'm not breathing? Now, the anesthetist thinks that I'm having an allergic reaction to the injection he gave me. And to be fair, he did have someone that was allergic earlier in the week, so it was normal that he jumped to that conclusion, at least at first. But when my monitor flatlined, he immediately panicked and put me to sleep. Well, I'm here with you now, so I did make it off that operating table alive. But in that moment, I was reminded of my talent for connecting with the spirit world. Now, my gift first appeared when I was maybe 3 or 4. I used to leave my body and fly around the world. I would visit different places and I would meet people that I saw as elders or masters, and they would share their wisdom with me. Now, my family were and still are staunch Catholics, and they didn't believe in such nonsense, as they called it. So I stopped sharing my experiences with them, and soon I even rejected the encounters as well. You see, I used to be very unhappy with my life. In just a few years, in addition to this medical error, I was fired from my high-powered job. I had a serious hiking accident in the Alps, which meant that I had to walk down the mountainside for 3 hours on a broken ankle. I underwent emergency back surgery, which left my right leg partially paralyzed, and I had a life-threatening illness. That's what it took for me to wake up and realize that I had to change my life. Talk about being hard-headed. If you look at my past, you might think that I should have been happy. After all, I'd been a corporate high flyer for over 30 years. I'd smashed through the glass ceilings of several multinationals and reached levels that most women only dream about. And yet I never felt successful in life. I never felt I was in the right place. Do any of you feel like that? No matter how much you've got, you're never satisfied, never truly happy? If so, then you should know that this is an indication that you're not on your life path for which you were intended. These days I am happy because I'm using my gifts that I was born with. I'm an intuitive coach. Now, you might be wondering what that is. Well, an intuitive coach is someone who follows the principles of traditional life coaching. And as you can see here, I've got many certificates for that. But in addition, it's someone who uses their intuition to receive personalized answers for their clients faster. Now, if all that sounds a bit woo-hoo to you, don't worry. I'm not some long-haired, bead-wearing hippie. I'm surprisingly normal. Remember, I spent 30 years climbing the corporate ladder of global multinationals. My career was actually very useful to what I do today. During that time, I was lucky enough to meet people from over 120 countries, from the cave dwellers of Western China to the nomadic Maasai tribes of Kenya. I learned to listen, but more importantly, to understand that people don't always say what they mean, nor mean what they say. Now, during my travels all around the world, I saw that happiness has little to do with what we've got and much more to do with fulfilling our life destiny, using the gifts and talents that we were born with. And I learned that problems usually appear in our lives when we stray from our destined life path. Life has a way of letting us know if we're prepared to listen. It starts by giving us a gentle nudge to get us back on our path. But when we don't pay attention, those signs get stronger and stronger until we have no choice but to notice and change. And that's exactly what happened to me. Okay, so let me share what I'm going to cover with you today. I'm going to reveal 3 secrets. First, I'm going to share with you what you need to know to transition into your ideal career. Next, we'll identify your hidden potential and the natural gifts and talents that you were born with and which you've probably forgotten you even had. And then I'm going to share a way to boost your intuition so that you can finally listen with confidence to your own inner voice, so that you can trust your gut feelings and follow your instincts. So let's get ready. And we're going to start with a first exercise. So grab your pen and pencil and paper, whatever you've got to write with. And I want you to write down whatever is making you unhappy in your career today. I'll give you a few moments to think about them and then to write them down. Okay? So write down everything that you would like to change in your career. Okay, so have you all got at least one thing written down? Some of you, I'm sure, have already several. Now, I want you to take your pen or pencil again, and I want you to cross out everything you just wrote down. That's right, cross it out. Scribble all over everything you've written. Have you done that? Now, why do you think that I asked you to cross out everything you wrote down? Well, my intuition is telling me that you thought of something else, the first thought you had, but you didn't write it down. Am I right? You immediately dismissed it as impossible to solve or achieve. So you then wrote down something else, but I'm here to tell you that everything is possible. So I want you to write down that very first thought you had. It's obviously the thing that's bothering you the most, so that deserves some time to work on. Now, over the years, I've heard a lot of reasons from my clients as to why they can't get what they want in life. The stories, the beliefs, maybe even the lies that they tell themselves. Things like, it's too late, I'm too old, I'm too set in my ways, I'm not good enough. Life's just unfair. I don't deserve a better job because ... fill in the blank. My boss, my colleagues, my friends, my family don't think I am. Are you thinking any of those thoughts? Well, I've got news for you. You're none of these. You can change career and you can find back your happiness in life. And how do I know? Because others have succeeded before you. People like J.K. Rowling, she was 36 when she published her first Harry Potter book. Or Susan Boyle, she was 47 when she stole the hearts of a nation, singing on Britain's Got Talent back in 2009. Her first album, I Dreamed a Dream, debuted at #1 on the Billboard charts. Milkshake machine salesman Ray Kroc, he was 51 when he stumbled into a small chain of hamburger stands run by the McDonald brothers. Sorry. And he pitched them on expanding the chain. And as you know today, it's a global corporation. Or what about Vera Wang? She was just an average figure skater, but she had dreams of competing in the Olympics. But when she realized that she'd never make it, she turned to her real love, which was writing, and she became a journalist, working as a senior fashion editor for Vogue. But it wasn't until she designed her own wedding dress, because she couldn't find anything she liked in the shops, that she started on the road to becoming a successful designer at the age of 40. So you see, they all faced challenges in their lives, challenges with their careers, because it wasn't the career that they were on this earth to follow. And they all became successful when they finally decided to use their talents and follow their dreams. Just like my client, Celine. Now, Celine is a lady in her mid-40s. She's a little on the round side of healthy, just like me, if I'm honest. She regularly does sport, not like me, but being French, she loves her food just a little bit more than she should. We worked together in the business world for a couple of years, but I soon realized that a corporate job would never make her happy. I suggested that she search for a job that would meet her dream of working with animals. A few months later, she told me that she had taken my advice and was training to be an animal communication expert. Today, Celine works across the globe. Despite not having a website, her business has grown through word of mouth alone. She finds lost pets and advises their owners on behavioral issues of their companions, their pets, that is, not their partners. Celine is not only successful, but more importantly, she's happy. Did you know that 80% of people over 45 are unhappy in their jobs? And they think about changing careers, but only 6% go through with it. Don't you deserve to be happy in your job? Don't you want to be one of that 6%? After all, the average person is going to spend 90,000 hours working over their lives. Let me repeat that amazing number, 90,000 hours. Are you prepared to waste all that time in a job you don't love? If so, then you haven't, if you aren't in a job that you love, why haven't you done something about it? I think I know why. My intuition is telling me something. You see, there are 5 stages to change that explain why many people don't finally go through with going for their ideal job. First, they feel increasingly unhappy and discontent with something in their life, but we're talking about careers here. And to start with, they hang in there. They try to ignore it or perhaps put up with whatever's going on because at least it's comfortable and familiar. And people, be honest, we don't like risk or change. But then they reach some sort of breaking point when they can no longer tolerate the situation, either through exhaustion, burnout, or a dramatic event that triggers them into action, like was my case. Then they decide they're ready to change and they take the first steps, which gives them a short-lived sense of hope and positive feelings of action. I say short-lived because usually after those first feelings of empowerment, they start to feel a little scared, usually quite quickly. they become more and more uncomfortable and anxious about the idea of change and begin to doubt their decision. Now, both options look pretty bleak to them. They feel helpless, stuck in the middle, and indecision. Old job, new job, old job. They fear change, and it can grow so strong that it makes the original situation that they were in suddenly seem much better, and certainly less anxiety producing than the change for the job they really want. As I said, they're familiar with the situation, so they resist letting it go. They temporarily forget why they so badly wanted to change just a short while ago. And so what do? They backtrack and stick out with the situation. They talk themselves out of taking any action. Now, if any of this sounds familiar, then at least I can tell you that things are about to change for the better for you, just as soon as you start using the process that I'm now going to explain to you. I don't want you to feel scared or unable to change, so I'm going to give you the confidence and the tools to go after what you really want. Now, you might be wondering about working with a coach such as me. Perhaps you've already tried in the past, but you were disappointed with the results. I think that's usually because standard approaches that most coaches use give standard suggestions, and they don't work for most people. Now, unlike them, I use my intuitive powers to provide personalized advice and tools that will help you, each person, solve your precise problem. And that's what I've been doing for years, helping people find better jobs, better lives, and generally being happier with their lives. But you see, I wanted to do even more. I could only help a limited number of clients. And that's when I realized that it would be far better if I could develop a system using my intuition that I could then teach to everybody. And that's how I finally came up with my paint process. Succeeding Your Career Transition is a 6 weeks program that runs you through the 5 steps of the paint process to identify your talents and then develops a detailed action plan for you to transition careers. Does that sound like something that you need? Great. Nothing like it has ever been offered before, and I don't think it exists anywhere else. I've never found anything about intuitive coaching, especially career coaching. It really is that unique. Paint has been used by my clients to solve issues with their jobs, but as I said, it can be used to help them with their relationships, even their health and wellness. It'll work in any area of your life that you're unhappy with. So after using it to find a happier career, you can use it again to solve other problems in your life. Okay, time for another exercise. So what I want you to do is to write down the 5 letters of paint on a new sheet of paper, and I want you to leave a space between each of them. Okay? Because I'm going to get you to go through each step of paint and add in your comments as we go through the process now. So, P-A-I-N-T with a bit of space in between each of them. So, as you can see, P is for problems, the challenges and issues that you're currently facing. That's what you wrote down earlier. That's the first step already done. Easy, wasn't it? So let's go through the other steps of the paint process. Step 2 is A for activities. And here we're talking about the ones that you loved doing as a child. Now, we're all born with different talents, but we demonstrate them in different ways. For instance, take artists. They're all creative, but no 2 artworks are alike, as you can see here. They create using different techniques, different styles, even different materials. So I want you to write down against A a couple of things that you loved doing when you were younger. Don't worry for now whether they're relevant to your career or not. Just write down whatever you enjoyed most as a child. Now, did you know that your natural abilities normally show up between the ages of 7 and 13? But all too often, we soon forget all about them. We try to find our place in society and later on the job market. We get tempted by salaries and titles, and we forget who we really are. And that's why so many people find themselves waking up one day and realizing that their career is not making them happy. I find this tends to happen between about 35 and 50, 55. So you get to, it's earlier than a midlife crisis, but you get to a point in your career and you wake up one day, as I said, sometimes because something happens in your life and you realize that you're not happy. Now, while it's important to remember those activities that you love doing, it's even more important to pinpoint the feelings you experienced whilst you were doing them. And that's how we apply the learnings to identifying your ideal career. So I is for identify, and that's the third step of paint. To be happy in your job, you must find things that bring you those same feelings of joy and achievement. Why did those activities make you so happy? What did you love about them? I want you to think back and relive those moments, really feel how you felt when you were doing them. Let me give you an example. It might help. I loved sports when I was younger, and the high jump in particular. I used to practice every day in school and then again when I got home. I wanted desperately to improve, but not to win any competitions. I wanted to improve my performance for me, to see just how high I could go. You see, what mattered to me was not winning. It was self-improvement. And that's what is still important for me today. I never stop learning. I'm just naturally curious to study and understand new things. So do you see how it's important to understand the reasons for your emotions and feelings that you had when you were doing those activities? Because that's what we use to identify your career transition. So again, against I want you to write down the feelings that you had when you were doing those activities that you love doing. Step 4 of paint is N for now, and that's when we move back from the past to the present. Imagine how you can awaken those same feelings that you've just identified in your career today. Are there similar activities that you long to do? Can you find those same feelings doing something completely different from the job you're doing today? How? Where? What? Lots of questions to consider and answer, but those responses will point you in the direction of a better and happier career, and therefore life as well. So take a moment and write down a couple of ideas that come to you for the N. You can go back and complete them after our session is over. But for now, I want you just to make a note of at least one thing, one idea that comes to you. Now, the final step in the paint process is T for taking action, because nothing's going to change until you do. Your career isn't making you happy, so the sooner you change jobs or positions, the faster you'll move forward. And don't worry about getting it right immediately. I'm a perfectionist too, so I know how we can be tempted to procrastinate when we're not too sure. but it's far easier to adjust your path once you're moving. And remember, there's no such thing as mistakes, only learnings. So if you try something new and it doesn't work out for you, you know that that's not the job for you, and you can try something else. So I want you to decide right now one action that you're going to take today, this afternoon, or this evening when we finish the training, and write that down against the T for taking action. Okay. So I hope you now see the tremendous value there is in the 5-step paint process. Now, we've only spent a few minutes going through an outline of it, but you already have a positive outcome, haven't you? You already wrote down some ideas about your talents and the emotions and feelings they give you, and you've identified an action that you're going to take today. You did, didn't you? If not, then promise me that you will do so when we go back, when you go back over your notes after this training. Now, I've helped a lot of people discover and start their dream jobs. People like Paolo. He was a corporate consultant who was struggling to get clients. He primarily worked with large organizations when they fired people. Paolo's clients were therefore mostly angry, frustrated, senior-level managers, often middle-aged or even older. Being surrounded by so much negativity day in and day out, Paolo wasn't living his dream job. He was often feeling depressed, which I'm sure you can understand. We walked through the paint process just like I did here, but in more detail, of course. And we got very specific in developing his action plan. I felt that he needed to work with younger people who were more positive and ambitious. So I suggested he develop an online platform to attract and help those dream clients that he had. He did just that, and it brought him an immediate and steady flow of new customers, ones he absolutely loves working with today. Now, some of you are probably thinking, that's all fine, but can the paint process really help me with my career transition? Well, let me explain how intuition comes into the whole process. The reality is we all have intuition, those gut feelings, that inner voice that speaks to us sometimes. I'm sure you've had hunches before, haven't you? The problem is that we often don't listen to them, or we don't have confidence to follow the ideas that come to us. Now, Helga was just like that. She was a Swedish lady that went through the program, and when she finished, she said, "Denise is a great coach." Thank you, Helga. "Patient, but challenging when needed. For me, the paint process worked really well. While I was quite intuitive before, it enhanced even more my natural intuition. However, it is essential to go through it step by step and not jump straight to actions and tasks, even if we think we know what problem we want to solve." After more than a decade in the corporate world, Helga rediscovered her many long-forgotten creative talents, and she got her first art exhibition in under 6 months of starting to paint again. And she's also taken up playing the saxophone, which she did many years ago, and she's now studying digital marketing so she can take her creativity into her career. All this while boosting her already well-developed intuition. Wouldn't you like to do the same? Okay, so we're about 2/3 through the program, and I just wanted to check in with you. I don't know if anybody's put on comments. Gosha. Hi, Gosha. Thanks for joining from Germany. Okay, well, thank you for joining us. Nobody's got any questions or comments? Let me ask you then a question. I hope that you can see first of all, how simple this 5-step paint process is, but also how it can help you with your career transition. So if you can you put a yes or a comment in the chat? It's quite funny. I've been running these training sessions now for about 6 months, and people are always shy to add in comments. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the idea of working with an intuitive coach that makes them a little bit nervous to start with. But as you can see, I'm perfectly normal. So the paint process, as I said, is extremely powerful. But what makes this program unique is that, as I said, working with me, your intuitive coach, it's going to boost your own intuition. You're going to start to notice things that you never did before. Things like having very vivid dreams or ideas about working in a totally new environment. Or you have ideas that pop up when you least expect them. Or you could suddenly get the answer to a question that's been bugging you for weeks, months, maybe even years. Wouldn't you like to have that small inner voice grow and get stronger so that you can have confidence in yourself and your ideas? They always say our answers lie within, but most of the time we just don't know how to listen. So, how close, wait a minute, Gosha, how close or not can the transition be to your current role or job? Great question, Gosha. I think the answer is as close or as far as it uses your talents. Some people are in the job that fits them, fits their talents and skills, and others aren't. It's generally when people get frustrated, bored, or unhappy in their jobs that by working with me, they wake up and realize that the reason is they have something inside them that needs to come out, a passion, a talent. Sometimes they've even forgotten about it, like was the case with Helga. And this Swedish lady became a real amazing talent. As I said, she got her first art exhibition, having taken up painting that she hadn't done since a child, and she loved it as a child. Within 6 months, she had an exhibition. She was that talented, but she'd gone into the corporate world because that's what people do. So to answer your question, there's no right and wrong answer. It can be very close to where you are if you're happy, or it can be very far away if you're not happy. I hope that answers your question. So let me show you the last few slides. And okay, so thank you, Helga, for that comment. So what we've covered, what you need to know in order to transition to your ideal career, and working on the most important thing that's holding you back from getting that more fulfilling job. The second secret was all about recognizing your hidden talents by remembering your natural gifts that you were born with. And most of us, we forget it. And then we find ways to relive the feelings and emotions that those activities brought us in our job, in our career today. And secret 3 was about boosting your intuition so that you can listen with greater confidence to that inner voice and trust your gut feelings to point you in the right direction. So if this works so well, what do you think is the number one reason people don't get started with it? Well, perhaps like them, you're thinking that something this effective is going to cost you more than you can afford. Well, I can tell you, it's actually very affordable. Plus, you get to learn a method that's repeatable. As I mentioned before, you invest just once and then you can continue to use the paint process for the rest of your life. to solve all the challenges that come up in the months and years ahead. The real question that I want to ask you is, are you prepared not to use it and to continue suffering in the dead-end career or job that you've got today and for the rest of your life? I'm sure you're not. So let me explain what the Succeed in Your Career Transition program is all about. You're going to get 6 weeks of private one-on-one coaching with me personally, not one of my team of consultants, me. I have partners that work with me once we've identified the issue. If it's in, you want to take your career even further, then I prefer to pass you on to a career coach. But if you're using your paint process and you come up with a health issue, could even be a mental issue, I have partners that will help you with that as well. And all the partners are on the Finding Your Happy website. You're going to learn the repeatable paint process, which I've said you can use in any area of your life. You're going to get increased feelings of self-worth from understanding and identifying what your natural gifts and talents are. And you're going to walk away from that 6 weeks of coaching with a clear plan of action. So you start transitioning your career. In fact, many people start even before the end of their program, as soon as they start identifying what talents they really want to work with. And all this whilst boosting your intuition. The price that my private clients pay to work with me is over $9,000 for 6 weeks of personal coaching. But don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to pay that, because as an intuitive, I can feel just how much we're all suffering from the current pandemic and the impact that it's having on our careers. We've either lost our jobs or we're questioning if it isn't the right moment to actually change jobs because we're not happy. So I want to do my bit to help. Now, the regular price for the 6-week paint program that you'll find on the Finding Your Happy website is $5,000. But today I'm going to give you a very special discount because, as I already mentioned, I want to help as many people as possible whose work has been negatively impacted by COVID. I'm going to make it available to you for less than the regular retail price. For those of you on the call today who sign up today, I'm going to give you a very special discount of 40% off the regular price. You're going to get it for just $2,995. So for those of you that are already, I've just put the offer up in the chat room and you can already click to sign up immediately and get that amazing price, because if you don't sign up today, you will only have access to the regular price of $5,000. So I do hope that you take advantage. And before going any further, I want to also offer you a gift as my thanks for you being here on this training today. You see, as an intuitive coach, I know there's going to be days when you need a little extra support, and that's why I created this bonus for you. As soon as you sign up and are accepted into the program, you will immediately get this amazing ebook that I've created so you can start your healing journey even before we begin working together. It's a beautifully illustrated full color book of my favorite and most inspiring quotes on happiness. Would you like that? Like to have it in your hands in just a few minutes from now? Inside, you will find beautifully illustrated quotes as well as suggested actions to improve your daily life. Imagine having messages like this every time you need a little extra support. With this special bonus, you'll be able to find comfort when you need it. Simply read a quote and take the suggested actions to give your life a new sense of purpose and direction. Now, you can follow the order of the book, or trust the universe and just flip through it and open at a random page. The universe will provide you with exactly the right quote that you need and the actions that you need to take to improve your situation at that precise moment. You can trust the universe, as you know. And you're going to be able to get rid of any negative feelings you might have when you first wake up in the morning. Even I know what it's like to struggle to face the day sometimes, especially when the work that's waiting for us is totally unfulfilling. So choose a page to read first thing in the morning as you drink your coffee or tea, and you'll be setting yourself up for a great day. And within just a few days, you're going to start to notice that you're feeling less sad. You're not feeling so lost or lonely. Then all those feelings, negative feelings, will start to disappear. And each day that you read a quote and take the actions, you're going to feel better. So wouldn't you like to have this uplifting book just for you right now? So what are you waiting for? Sign up for the program and you'll get this in your inbox immediately. If you want 2021 to be your best year ever, then don't hesitate a minute longer. The choice is clear. Are you still hesitating because you're thinking that you'll wait and see, perhaps the problem will go away on its own? Well, I can tell you, you could wait, but let me warn you, it's going to cost you a lot more physical and mental pain and suffering just to wait and see. And if your problem doesn't go away, and to be honest, they rarely do without action, you're going to be months or maybe even years older, but with exactly the same worries, if not even more. And the biggest problem of all is that you'll be letting someone else get that promotion, that new career, that new job that you want. As one of my favorite Chinese proverbs says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. So are you going to plant the seeds of a happier career today? Isn't it time to get the job you truly deserve, one that will have you jumping out of bed with excitement and enthusiasm rather than hitting the snooze button again and again? I know, I do it too. But maybe you prefer to work through the paint process on your own. After all, I've just explained it to you. That will certainly be a good start. I know you're going to get value from it and you'll be able to move towards finding that happier career. But you won't get that beautiful, uplifting special bonus that I designed just for you, that full color illustrated book of motivational quotes and all their suggested actions. And you won't get the results as fast as if you work with an intuitive coach. And you won't be developing your own intuition either. So I suggest that you sign up for Succeeding Your Career Transition right now. But I've got a word of warning for you. If you're interested, then I've got some bad news for all of you on the call today, because I don't have enough spots for everyone. You see, I only have 4 free spots in July. I already have a lot of clients who continue working with me for months. When they finish the program, they get such great value working with an intuitive coach that they don't want to stop and they want to continue working for the next month, 2 months, 3 months. So new spots don't come up that often. If more than 4 people want to sign up today, then latecomers are going to be put on a waiting list. And I don't know when the next vacancy is going to come up this year. The Succeeding Your Career Transition program is the fastest way that I know to supercharge your career and start enjoying life again, period. So please don't wait. As I said, my private clients pay me $9,000 to work with me for 6 weeks. The regular price is $5,000, but I'm offering you 40% off because I want to do my bit for those suffering during the pandemic. So if you want to take advantage of this offer, you need to sign up now. The offer is in the sidebar, as I said. And if for any reason, when you click the button, it doesn't work, I've also given you the special private URL. But please promise me that you'll keep it to yourself. As I said, it's only for those of you that have gone through the training today. Everybody else, when they go onto the website, will only see that $5,000 offer. So remember, this isn't your typical online coaching offer with group sessions. I'm offering personal one-on-one coaching from me, not one of my team of partners, even if they are awesome, I have to say. All sessions are with me personally. I'm also not offering you just access to pre-recorded modules that you watch on your own. And I'm not proposing the exact same solution to everybody that those sorts of programs do. I work with each person one-on-one, so the tools, the exercises, and the action plans are all personalized and individualized. Each person who works with me, your intuitive coach, gets personalized service and personalized solutions to their precise problems. You'll get clear answers to the challenges that you choose to work on, and you'll get a clear plan of action to move you in the direction you need to go to solve them. This really is your path to happiness in your work, but also in your career. And what's more, there's absolutely no risk to you. You see, I offer a full 21-day guarantee. That's 3 weeks to see if succeeding your career transition program is everything that you need. If it's what you need to bring more happiness in your job and life in general. If at any time during those 3 weeks you are not happy, just send my support team an email and I'll issue you with a full refund. But unlike most other guarantees, I will be asking for details as to why you want your money back. You see, as an intuitive coach, I should be able to feel what's needed for each person, the exact tools that they need to help solve their problems. If I don't, then I need to know, because there's something that I need to work harder on. So before we finish, I want you to ask yourself this question. Don't you owe it to yourself to check this out? Even if it only does half of what I've said today, it will have you moving forward for the cost far less than 1 month's salary. But I want to make this offer a no-brainer for you today on this call. So I'm going to offer you an additional 4 weeks of extra sessions with me. That's a total of 10 weeks of coaching with me. You see, I've heard that many people feel stranded, as most coaches leave them on their own when they finish working with them, unless they pay more. I don't want you to feel like that, so I'll continue to check in with you regularly for a further 4 weeks once the 6-week program is finished. As I said, that's 10 weeks of coaching at no additional cost to you. And I'm sure you can agree, it's worth more than $1,000. The paint process that I've just shared with you has already been used by people all over the world to bring positive change to their lives. I regularly hear from past students about their successes and the changes they've made in their lives, and it brings me such joy to hear about their achievements. So are you ready to join them by signing up today? Don't forget, I only have 4 spots in July, so don't miss this chance to make 2021 your best year yet. By following the Succeeding Your Career Transition program, you'll be getting a deep dive into paint, which, remember, is a repeatable process that you can then use to solve any problems in the future. You'll develop your intuition so you can follow your inner voice and those gut feelings that you have with total confidence. You'll get weekly calls for 6 weeks with exercises and homework to do on our one-to-one calls. And the one-to-one calls last between 1 and 2 hours. I never limit it to 1 hour. I work with each person until they feel comfortable, they understand the exercises and the homework they do between sessions. And as I said, I'm giving you this extra bonus of 4 additional weeks of follow-up calls so you can continue to make progress without being left on your own. All this for just $2,995 with the 21-day money-back guarantee. So that's it. That's my paint process as applied to career transition. And I can tell you, I've had so much success. I've only shared a few of the people that I've helped. And as you can see, like Celine moving from corporate world to being an animal communicator, or Helga, who was a businesswoman and is now an artist. I mean, there are just so many examples of people that have totally changed their careers by working with me and learning the paint process. So if you have any additional questions, please add them into the chat now. I don't see anybody else for the moment, so I'll start by answering the questions that some of you already sent in. The first one is from Pam. Pam, if you're on the line today, thank you for sending in your question. And it was, can I sign up tomorrow and still get the lower price? Unfortunately not. You need to sign up using the link and the offer that's on the sidebar. So if you sign up tomorrow, you're going to pay $5,000, not $2,995, and you won't get the additional 4 weeks follow-up coaching. So Pam, if you're hesitating, stop hesitating, because we're going to be finishing in a couple of minutes and you'll lose that chance. You need to sign up today. I used to say by the end of the training, but some people, it was round about lunchtime and they had to go back to work, so they wanted to sign up in the evening. So I agreed for them. That's why I gave you that URL. They can sign up. You can sign up until the end of today. Okay, the next question came from Nancy. Can I do the session with my partner or with a friend? Great question, Nancy. The answer is yes and no. I'll be very Swiss and say it depends. You can do the training together in terms of the exercises, but because I'm an intuitive coach, I need to connect with you. And if there's 2 of you on the line, I don't know what instructions I'm getting for whom. So I think it's a great idea. Sign up with a friend or your partner. Each do your coaching calls on your own, and then compare notes afterwards. Do your training together, your homework together, help each other out. But on the calls, please, only one person. Because think about it. If I get an idea for one person and I give it to the other person, they're going to go off in the wrong direction. Now, that hasn't happened to me, and I don't know if anybody has had somebody in the background, but I do suggest that you always are alone on the calls. So I hope that you understand why. And the next question, Jean-Pierre, what happens during the extra 4 weeks follow-up support? Great question, again, Jean-Pierre. As I said, we will have shorter calls. It won't be the hour and a half to 2 hours. There'll be shorter calls because we're not doing any exercises. I won't be giving you homework, or sometimes I might suggest actions. But I like to keep in contact after that 6 weeks. So there'll be shorter calls, maybe a half hour to an hour, but they will continue to be every week. So, any questions? Thank you. This was very inspirational. Thank you, Gosha. I'm glad you enjoyed the session. And thank you for all your comments. As I said, I'm getting used to the fact that lots of people don't dare to put comments. I think they're a little bit scared, as I said. But as you can see, I'm totally normal. So, as we're getting to the end of the session, if you're still hesitating, please act now. Sign up and get those extra 4 weeks of coaching for free and that 40% discount. The clock is ticking. You've got only today to sign up. For those of you who've already signed up, thanks and a big welcome to the team. And congratulations for taking your first step to freedom from all your worries. I'll be in touch very soon to fix our program together. For those of you that are still hesitating, I wish you much luck and happiness in your life. And remember, I'll still be one call or email away if you decide to take up my offer. With this, it's me, Denise, your intuitive coach, signing off for today. Bye.